what's up guys, welcome back to a new video. So today I would share some tips on how to get a summer internship, but mostly it's just my opinion and it's just what's worked for me, so please do take everything with a grain of salt. And I don't really have a proper structure to this video. I'm just gonna be blabbing on for about a few minutes, so yeah, if you're interested then just stick along. So contrary to what a lot of recruiters will tell you, or HR people, I actually think quantity is more important than quality. So I think it's better to spend like 10 minutes on one application and then maybe you can apply to 6 different places rather than 1 hour on just one application, because I think the whole process is very subjective. You never really know what they're looking for. Like, some recruiters may prefer a one-page CV, some people want more in-depth and they want to see all your like co-curriculars and hobbies, and some people just want to see your skills and things like that. So yeah, the whole process is very subjective, so I feel like it is based a lot on luck. So definitely, don't beat yourself up, like it's not your fault if you don't get hired. So that's why I think it's better to just not spend too much time in the process, because ultimately you are just a number to them. Like, they can say, whatever, like, we really value your application and whatever, but like ultimately after applying to like 50 places, you just, you really get used to it and it's just like another rejection email. And yeah, anyways, first tip I guess is like that it's a numbers game, so just apply to as many places as you can. With the actual process, pretty much you will definitely need a CV and a cover letter. I always recommend people having like a short CV, like 1 page. I think if you're a student then you really shouldn't have a CV longer than like 1 or 2 pages, because you don't have like any proper experience anyway. So yeah, in terms of grades, like, yes, they are important, but they aren't the end all be all. Like, if you don't have straight A's, like, that's absolutely fine. I actually spoke to this girl, she works at PwC now as a consultant, and she was telling me how all of her like colleagues, or like the graduates that they hired, like their average was like a B+. I think it's because companies want people that are well-rounded, so they don't want someone that spends all their time studying. So they'd rather you have like a B average, but then you have like all these co-curriculars and like part-time jobs and stuff like that to show that you can get involved in lots of different things. In terms of actually applying, there's a few resources that I recommend. So firstly is your university careers page. For me, this was probably the most helpful because there was a lot of roles that were relevant to me, and yeah, it was just the most abundant place, and a lot of the organizations that I wouldn't have been able to find, or I didn't even know about if it wasn't for that page. So yeah, definitely check out your university's careers page or employability website. Another one is LinkedIn. So if you guys haven't heard of LinkedIn, basically it's like this professional, I guess it is a form of social media, but essentially it's pretty much a website where like business people can connect with each other and you can find a lot of jobs on there. I wouldn't say that there's a ton of internships per se, at least not in New Zealand or in Auckland, but there are a few jobs out there and it is a good place to make connections. I will say that I have spent hours just like stalking people on LinkedIn and just kind of, I feel like not being super productive. So it is somewhere where you can get distracted and spend a lot of time and not actually get a lot out of it. So I would be wary of that and try and use it as a tool, but don't use it as a be all and end all. Like, if you want to really make connections with people, like, ask them to meet up in person or have a chat rather than just messaging them. Another good one is Seek. So this is pretty much just another job searching website where you can look for internships. So it isn't like the best, I would say, but there are some jobs out there, so it is worth a look. And finally, another great resource that I use was Next Step. So I'll insert the website here, but basically they have a ton of different organizations, and all their like internships and grad roles are on there. So yeah, that's another really good resource if you're looking for companies to apply to. So now I'm kind of gonna go into like the actual application process. Pretty much every organization is gonna start with an online application, or at least the larger organizations, they'll have a website and you basically fill in a form or fill in like a survey with questions, and you'll have to attach your CV, usually a cover letter and an academic transcript as well. So yeah, I definitely have those like prepared beforehand. I never tailored my CV, like I just had one CV throughout the whole process, but for my cover letter I would just keep it very general, and then I would just change the company's name for each place that I was applying to. So it is a little bit tailored, but it took like 1 minute. After applying online, basically depending on the company, it could take anywhere from a few days to a few weeks to even a few months for them to get back to you. So yeah, if you are successful, the next stage is usually online assessments. So you have to do either like a numerical or verbal reasoning test. They also do kind of like abstract reasoning tests, which I find like really difficult. But yeah, I don't really have any tips for those. I guess just try your best. You know, try and like do it in a quiet area where you can focus and not be rushed. And then after that stage, usually that's when you get to the interview stage. So you have either a video interview or in-person interviews. So for this year, I think most places did do video interviews. At least that's what I had. Also, I had actually, it was like a initial video interview was with the computer, so there was no one there, but you basically just like recorded yourself answering some questions. Those are just like very simple questions. It's usually something like, tell me about yourself, or why do you want to work for this company, and you know, what are your hobbies and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty basic. And then for the actual interview, that's a bit more labor intensive in the sense that it's usually like half an hour to an hour, and there's a few people that are going to be interviewing you. So for me, that was on Zoom, and I had my interview with 3 other people, like they were kind of managers in the organization. And it was like, I felt really lucky because they kind of gave me like topics on what they were going to ask me on beforehand, so I could prepare questions. So that was really great. Sometimes they won't do that, so it is difficult, but definitely try and think of, you know, situations where you can talk about your skills such as teamwork, time management, you know, organization, things that pretty much every organization is going to ask you. Definitely research the company, know what they do, know like why you want the role. Try to seem genuine. Definitely helps if you actually want the job, but even if you don't really love it, just try and appear as if you do. And one thing that, a tip that I received was talking about the values, which definitely helped me. So pretty much every large company, they'll have like these values or like a mission statement. So if you can look that up, and if you can just sell that to them, then they'll just like eat it up. They love that. So yeah, definitely talk about values when they ask you like, why do you want to work here, or why do you know, why did you choose us? They love to hear about that. And yeah, finally, just be professional, you know, dress well. Like I had a couple interviews where I had my hair down, and you know, it just wasn't super professional. So I would say if you maybe have dyed hair, just tie it up, or you know, if your hair's like messy and it can get in the way, yeah, so just pull it back and be professional and dress well. You don't have to wear a suit and tie, but you know, just a nice shirt doesn't hurt. And the last thing I want to say is don't be discouraged if you get rejected, because I know I probably got like, honestly, at least 50, maybe even 100 rejections before I got my first offer. So yeah, just keep on applying, don't give up, and yeah, eventually you will get one. I think in this video I mainly covered like larger companies, but there are also a lot of smaller companies that do offer like internship and work experience roles. So definitely don't be afraid to just you know, head out companies, just send emails, like cold email recruiters, and just message them. Even if they don't have a job advertisement, you never know, they may be willing to hire someone and they just didn't like advertise it. So yeah, definitely make the most of your network and all your connections. And yeah, good luck to you guys. That's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you have any questions, queries, don't hesitate to comment down below. And yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Ciao!